Good evening to everybody everywhere. This is Spurs Diehards Tottenham Till I Die. I have got an eclectic panel tonight. We have a first-time guest who I'm going to introduce shortly. First of all, I just want to say a quick hello to Ian and Adrian. How are you guys doing up top?
All right, guys. Just really excited about seeing the new signings tomorrow. Got my ticket, came down specially. Really looking forward to seeing Silvinho on that left wing and Eze dominating the midfield. Think it's going to be really exciting, and having Morgan Gibbs-White to pull off the bench if things don't go right, it really couldn't have been a better transfer window. Oh wait. Good evening.
Is this Ian from the future? Crikey. Adrian, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm so looking forward to going to the game tomorrow and, you know, listening to Ian's positivity when we're in the fan zone at the back of the South Stand, like with Kev Clark, Brad probably, and Connor S, and perhaps Jim or whatever, and others, if we all meet up there. Really looking forward to it. And, I'm sure we get into the midweek game.
Good. And we've got Mr. Alan Rakdos Madness who's joined us. Hello, Alan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you, sir. Doing well. And last but by no means least, first time caller, long time listener, is Jim from Oso Spurs. Thank you so much for joining us, Jim. How are you?
Oh, I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, absolute pleasure. Sorry about my terrible scheduling last time. I really messed up. Is it actually my second time? I have been on. I've been on to meet Adrian and Ian before, but it was a long time ago. It was probably at least 6 months ago. So look, always a pleasure to come on.
Forgot what you look like, Jim.
Yeah. exactly. But thanks so much for having me on. And
it's awesome.
Spurs.
Yeah, so it's great. I've obviously been on your show a couple of times, and I've been eager to get you on. It's always really nice to listen to you talk Spurs, and we like to think of ourselves as quite a level-headed lot over here. So we're hoping we'll think you'll fit right in. I just want to give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm going to say hello quickly to Nita, who has joined us. Hello, Nita. How are you? We've got Blaine Dev from Super Spurs TV, as always. Thank you very much for popping in. We have Graham Spurs GC TV. All the usual lot. So keep your comments coming in, and do feel free to send in some questions, and we'll do our best to get around to them at the end. Where to start? I mean, Jim, I want to come to you first and foremost because we got you for just an hour or a little over an hour, and I kind of want to get your thoughts, and then we'll get the guys coming on the back of you. I guess now that we've sort of had a chance to see the good and the bad and the ugly in the sort of Arsenal, PSG, Bayern Munich sort of realm, and we'll get into more of the nitty gritty of the PSG game in a bit. But what's your feelings on the team as it stands at the moment? How confident are you that we can sort of start quickly and put a good run together at the beginning of the season and kind of be there or thereabouts at Christmas? And I mean, I know that feels like a long way, but it's going to come quick and fast. So I'm just kind of want to sort of get your vibe, see what you're thinking.
Yeah, it depends what you define as there and thereabouts, I guess.
Right.
In my head, as I go into this, I'm just putting it out there. My expectation of a good season, if we end the transfer window strongly and Frank is continuing to do all the right things that we've seen so far, it would be a 5th place finish probably. Best case scenario, if things go really, really well, 4th. But I think we're a lot better than squad-wise than what I've heard previously. People saying, oh, we've got to try and get back up to the top half of the table. I think if you look back to the start of last season, we were saying that squad, we don't think 17th at all represented it. We were saying that squad is really a top 8 squad, and that's why it hurt so much and was so difficult to watch it being 17th in the league. And last season, we didn't start with a backup goalkeeper in Kinski. We didn't start with a backup centre-back in Danso. We didn't start with Takai in that squad. We didn't have a number 6 in Paulinia. It looks like we're going to get Eze in, Touchwood, as well. And I'm sure there's someone else I missed. Oh, and Kudus as well. So the squad in my head is leveled up significantly since the first game of last season. And I think we've got a manager who's more tailored to the Premier League as a competition. So that's going to help as well. And yeah, my comparison is you're looking at Newcastle and Villa, as those are the 2 other ones going for 5th. I look at their squad and everyone goes, ours has got gaps. Ours has only got 1 backup left centre-back that's this level. And well, they're in exactly the same boat. They've got several positions on the team that if they get 1 injury, the drop-off is absolutely enormous. Now, I think we've only got 2 or 3 positions like that now, and we're looking to address 2 of those before the window finishes, and I really hope we do. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to enjoy home games again, because even though, people who know me, I was a big backer of Postecoglou for the Europa campaign, but my word, as a season ticket holder, it doesn't matter if you're a season ticket holder, whoever you are, wherever you're watching from, watching us lose at home endlessly was more painful than I ever could have imagined. And I accepted the trade-off for a trophy, but I never want to do it again. I can't bear to see us lose that many times again. And I think we're going to enjoy our home games again, which is massive for me.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we'll come up to you, Ian. Is this Ian from the future, or is this now Ian?
Oh, I don't know.
Come on, Ian. Let it out, mate. Let it out. Share.
I probably should have had a drink before I came online. Might have calmed me down a bit. I don't know. I'm not sure where we are. I think Jim's made an awful lot of sense with what he said. Although you can say we haven't done the business we want, you can argue, why have we absolutely got bullied into buying Tell as part of the part payment for Harry Kane? But bringing in Danso permanently has been a good move. I know he came in at Christmas, but on an obligation, I think. But thankfully, that's all worked out. He looks a very, very good player. We've got Kudus, who looks a really, really, really top player. I think he's going to be a significant improvement on what the player he was at West Ham, simply because he's able to play on that right-hand side that Mark Noble occupied. And I think if he got a bit peed off, people say, oh, his attitude's not right. But his manager clearly didn't fancy him. He didn't play him in the position that he wanted. So that's maybe not surprising. But we do still have this issue. And it worries me. A couple of things worry me a little bit. I mean, the bottom line is we conceded 2 late goals, but 2 really easy goals against PSG. We tired, and I don't know why we got so tired, because the players should be pretty fit now. Against Arsenal, we were superbly organised at the back, but we didn't show enough going forward. Against Bayern, we were absolutely ripped apart. So much as I think we're better organised and we look better and what have you, I still have some concerns. And tomorrow, in some ways, tomorrow's a really good test, because this is a team that I suspect will defend very low and say, we'll try and get you on the break, but you come break us down. We know Scotty Parker has them really, really, really well organised. So I think, I've got us down. I predicted a 1-0 victory tomorrow. And I think it will be that hard. It might be an 85th minute scrappy tap-in. I'm still not sure that we've got enough invention, creativity and goals in the team at the moment. And that's bothering me. And that still needs to be addressed quickly. Good evening to everybody in the chat. A lot of long-standing friends of ours now. Good evening, all of you.
Yeah, and already we've got Peter gifting out the memberships. He's given 10 Spurs Diehards memberships to everybody. So I don't actually have my additional screen up, but if you are a recipient of one of those memberships, then please do give Peter a high five in the chat. We'll come back to you, Adrian, because obviously we've had the likes of Eza, Silvinho, and even this morning, or even late last night, I think, or this morning, there were rumours that Dani Olmo, and then all of a sudden Hincapié, who was been targeted by Chelsea, and now all of a sudden, our name's in the mix. I mean, I don't quite remember in the past being associated with this many kind of high-profile names. And just to follow on with that, I mean, there's got to be. I can't imagine that the club would allow rumours like this to circulate and not do anything, or not at least get one or two in. So would you? I mean, how many players are you expecting in the next few days, or at least once we get over the game tomorrow, that they'll really start making moves sort of early next week?
I think we're going to bring 3 in before the window closes.
Okay.
I mean, Silvino's agent's flown in. He hasn't flown in for nothing. Right. So that doesn't mean to say we'll get the player. It just means he wants to speak to the club about letting the player go. The rumour is like we've offered 70 million euros, which is 61 million. So I can see like us paying about 65 for him. If you're going to pay 65 for him, then pay the same for Eze, and you'll get them both. And I think we'll get them both. I really hope the link with. I mean, I love Dani Olmo. He'd really give us something different in midfield with his passing. But I would take him or Hincapié. Hincapié, he's got a 52.5 million release clause, but I don't see him leaving. That their club's been raped to players, and I don't see him leaving. It's Leipzig, isn't it? Is it Leipzig? He was there with Tar.
Hincapié, he's with Lever. He's with Leverkusen.
Leverkusen, yeah. He was there with Tapsover and Tar, but Tar's got to Bayern, isn't it? So, and they play a back three. So, I think the Hincapié rumours are just what they are. I wish they were true. I wish we were really in for him, because he's left-footed centre back and he can play left back as well. And he's only 24, Ecuadorian. He's a really good player, right? Defender. So yeah, if we got Silvinho and Eze in, then I could see us getting someone as addition. And I wouldn't mind if it was a younger player coming in. If it was, then if we went, he's cheap enough, we'd go and get El Khanouchi and have a look at him. I haven't really looked at this player. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Others said, no, he's rubbish. But you're not rubbish if you play football in the Championship. You've reached a certain standard anyway. You're just not. Right. Even in the Premier League, players might not be considered good enough for us, but technically now players are much better technically than they were in the 70s, when it was all long ball, huff and puff. So, yeah, I'm confident, quietly confident we get deals done. I am, because the money's there. And even after the foul ball White fiasco, there was like, you knew then we had 60 mil. Well, 60 mil, you can put 20 mil down on 3 players. So, but I think we've got more. I actually believe we've probably got a naming rights deal in the offing, which won't make no difference, because if it's 25 million a year for 25 years, if it's 500 million, that's just going to pay the interest on our debt. That's why we have. It
depends on whether it's front loaded, right? Because there was a rumor that was the injection, and it was going to be sort of, I guess the rumors pay a lot of it up front, or at least inject 300 million potentially, and then the rest over the course of the deal or something like that. But let's bring Alan in quick. How you doing, Alan?
Doing good, buddy.
Good. We'll just follow on from this briefly, and then I do want to get into sort of the ins and outs of the PSG game. But we did see a lot of the youngsters head out or heading out on loan. So would that maybe give more of an idea, or give more value to the fact that we are going after more of these players? Because otherwise we are, I know kids aren't the ideal backup, but we are going to be leaving ourselves very short if we don't start, if we don't replace some of the kids that have gone out. So are you sort of in the same boat as Adrian? You think, maybe 2 or 3 at least?
Yeah, I think definitely I think we're going to get Eze. I think the tide has turned on that. I think it's just a function of time. Salvinho, again, his agent is coming in. to London, so they don't just fly in for nothing. And I think Pep was talking about it and says he's still got a role to play here and whatnot, but it's all the mind games of the transfer window. I think that those are posturings and whatnot. And I think we will have to bring in a couple of more. I think it's what we were kind of clamoring for last season, was to not reinforce with the younger people, because we've seen what happens with that. The problem with that, we overcorrected with too many young people last season, and it kind of bit us a bit, even though we won the Europa League. And as Jim was saying, I wouldn't do a 17th and a trophy again. It's too hard to deal with. But yes, I think we are gonna reinforce. I don't know anything about Hincapié, but from what I've seen, he seems to look really good. I don't know where those rumors are coming from. I didn't hear them, but that doesn't mean that they're not real.
Well, it just seems to be I don't know, something different every day. It's weird because I'm not used to this as a Tottenham fan. We'll come back down to you, Jim. I feel like I'm in, I don't know, a different dimension. I'm quite a fan of the Marvel movies and multiverses and things like that. And I just kind of hope I've dropped into one where we do have 300 million to spend, and the guys are about to lay all their cards out in the middle of next week. We're going to get bombers galore. I mean, what's your stance on? I mean, are you excited by the players that we've been linked to?
Yeah, like even the ones we've brought. I think what excites me is that I believe consistent, good recruitment underpins success for any coach. That's of a Premier League standard, right? If you had given Arne Slot Tottenham squad last season, he wouldn't have won the league with it. But if you had given most of the top end managers in the Premier League Liverpool squad, they'd have been in a title challenge at least. Because you need a great coach, I think, to win the Premier League, but you need a great squad, and there's lots of great coaches around. It's the recruitment that underpins their opportunities. And since we're still paying for many years of getting it wrong, which is painful. We've still got players on our books, that Brian Hill is an example, that we didn't work out, and still all these years later trying to find them a home that's a good match. And you look at these players, you think they're not bad footballers, but they just don't fit the Premier League. And yeah, so we've still got that hangover now. But what I would say is, particularly in the last 3 years, even though we profiled a bit overly on the young side last season, which caused issues, we did get the talent ID right most of the time. And there's a couple of players that people are going, not 100% sold on, but the vast majority have been pretty good. Mohamed Kudus as well. Like, wow, he's our marquee one of this season so far. And I think it's clear to see if we keep that guy fit, he's going to be a bit of a rock star of this side. So, yeah, and I'm pretty sure if you'd asked Spurs fans at the start of the window, would they take Eze? They'd have been quite excited by the idea of bringing him in, and we all are. So if that one gets over the line, I think if we get as well Savinho, oh my word, suddenly you're going, I'm looking at every major position. I'm going, you've almost got a good backup for every position, and an exciting prospect in every position, and a reasonable senior player in every position. I'm like, this is getting quite exciting now, considering how light the squad was last year, paper thin last year. And then we're now talking about this left centre back. Now, I'm not an ITK. I never claim to be. I never tweet about it, but it's one of those that I do, because I get sent information. I'm like, I just, every time I get told this stuff, it's always wrong. But this one, for the last 3 days, I keep getting messages about this one from people, and like, don't tell anyone, but don't tell anyone, but. And I'm like, maybe it is, maybe this one's, and then it comes up today. I'm like, oh, maybe there's something in this one. But as I said, every time I get ITK, it never comes up to be true. So I never share it.
Yeah, fair enough. There's been plenty of people. I was saying to Sean Butler earlier on his show that this is one of those games where, I mean, football will do it to you every time. Just when you think you know, or just when you're about to, you're on the WhatsApp group and you're about to call everybody out, within 30 seconds or 60 seconds, you've deleted that text, and you're kind of, you just closing WhatsApp, and you're just going to go and do something else, just because this game will keep you on your toes. Just when you think you're right, you're so very, very wrong.
Yeah, but no, very excited. If we get those 3 players over the lines, my expectations will rise. That I think you've got to say, I know I saw someone in the comments, understandably, kind of hangover from the feelings of last season, saying, I think we're 8th to 10th. I couldn't name 8 sides with a better squad than Spurs. I could name 4. And I think that's where it leaves me. And people go, you just look at the Newcastle and the Villa squads. They've got lots of positions where they are one injury away from an issue, just like us. We're in that kind of camp there, which makes it so frustrating because 2 or 3 more and we leap ahead of them. If we don't, we could be 5th or we could be 10th, just depending on how injuries go. So it leaves so much more
understandable. And it's the same. It's the same with. I mean, everybody's talking, waxing lyrical about Liverpool from the midfield forward, but they're a couple of defensive, especially at centre back, from being in a real bad position. So like you say, it's not just us, I guess. And Ian, we'll come back to you because obviously I can still sense your frustration. I guess there, and I feel it as well, just in terms of. And I think, because the start of the season's tomorrow, obviously, I think the collective would really have liked to have got maybe another couple in by now just to allow them to gel with the team. But, I mean, obviously, Frank's had to have had a chance now to look over the squad and really, really identify exactly what he wants to be able to progress this team. So, you think maybe the short-term pain now will hopefully end up being long-term pleasure later? I don't know if that's the right way of putting it. I'll take it.
I'm sure it's not only us, because I'm sure there's other clubs that have taken weeks to negotiate deals and what have you. But it just always feels that it's Tottenham are nearly there. I don't know actually what that comment is about, Tom, but you'll no doubt tell me. And time and again, and we're nearly there, and we don't quite get it. And then the window comes to an end, and then you've got this, well, we tried. And I'm really, really concerned that the time that all of this is taking. That's my worry. I heard that we were in for Morgan Gibbs-White some while ago. That was a done deal, and then it wasn't. Now, I know that knocked us back a bit, but we were close, we were getting close to Wharton, and then Parish moved the goalposts, and now we appear to be close to Eze. And Parish is moving the goalpost. Now, I know everybody likes to blame Daniel Levy. He's an easy target. But people in the game and people that we know on some of the streams and stuff that know Steve Parish or know people that deal with Steve Parish say he's a very difficult person to deal with. And that's where that worries me. That when you think about it, the centre half, I'm not even going to try and Tom and get his name wrong, Wharton and Eze have all been leaving. They've all been going, whether to us, to Liverpool or whatever. And that's been going on over a year. Yet they're all still there. And now I hear, but he's not going to, even if you agree a deal with him, he's not going to sell unless he gets replacements in. Well, how long do you wait when the transfer window's, 2 weeks on Tuesday or something, if he hasn't got his replacements and you haven't got anyone else lined up? It's not all Levy's fault. But you've got to be getting the players in. Silvinho, I actually think, is a much more likely option. His agents have come over. He's pushing for the move. City, I don't think, are going to stand in his way. So it'll just be a matter of ultimately crunching the numbers. They're not the same animal. So I think we'll get Silvinho. There was a player linked tonight, I can't remember his name now, who a lot of people in online are saying he's a better player than Eze. The problem is, of course, Eze for homegrown. We're short again of homegrown players. If we can't get Gibbs-White, we can't get Eze. So Gay. Gooey. I call it Gooey. Gay. Okay. I've read from various people that we're not just going to buy, when you see Paratici, for example, he juggles number of players, he gives you 4 or 5 options, and then you pick one in the end. I get the impression, when Thomas Frankie actually said it, if I don't get my something much more important happening there, Blaine. So sorry. So Blaine, thank you Drew. Blaine, thank you very much. Thank you. But if we don't get our top targets, we won't sign a player who's second, third, fourth choice just to fill the shirts. But that goes back to what you were saying about the young players. Why would you let a Jamie Donnelly go, for example, if you can't get an Eze, or if you can't get a Morgan Gibbs-White or a similar type player? You've got Sarr that can play there. You've got Bergvall that can play there, not ideally. But why would you not keep Donnelly as a homegrown player unless you're certain you've got someone coming in? And this is where I'm not sure. I think we're good at the back, but I'm still, as I say, I don't want to be negative. I'm a half full glass kind of guy, but I'm still worried about where the creativity and where the goals are coming from to win enough football matches. That said, just very quickly, I think Newcastle and Aston Villa are two clubs who we would consider to be rivals for that sort of fourth, fifth, sixth position have gone backwards, significantly backwards, and may continue to go backwards. So there is an opportunity there, particularly if we can get one or two in.
Yeah. Oh, fair play. Well, it's going to be really interesting to see over the next week or so, because you would expect if there is going to be movement, it would start happening then. And we'll move over, Adrian. We'll come back over to you, because we were talking earlier about the cup final. Unfortunately, didn't quite end the way that we wanted it to. But give us before we get into obviously previewing the Burnley game tomorrow, give us your thoughts on the game here. We went toe to toe with PSG for the better part of 80 minutes, right?
We didn't lose the game. It went to that lottery penalty shootout, which, me and Ian were at the 84 UEFA Cup final when we won on penalties, and it's great when you win on penalties. It's sad for the losing team because it can destroy players that miss penalties. And then you get fan bases turn on them, like them disgusting people that turned on Tell because he missed his penalty, right? Which is a disgrace, right? No other word for it. You're not a fan, as far as I'm concerned. Get out of our club. But what a performance. I mean, against the best team in the world. They had an off day against Chelsea in that cup final. Probably game too far from at that particular time. They only come back. They only had 6 days training. And they just got quality all over the pitch. So much more quality to us. And I'm in the mud, guys. Because I use logic and facts. Although I'm very fact-based, as people know, right? But I said, look, people are going, we're getting another centre-back in. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I said, look, I virtually slammed the door. I went, look, there's no way that's happening. I said, Frank's played 4 pre-season games, 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. He is not going to play a back five, I said, unless he knows, or getting another centre-back, unless he's worried about the season's health of VDV and Romero. He's not going to do it unless of that. Or unless he just wants something in reserve for, if when a game's not going well for you, then switch it, and all that. So, and what did he do? We picked our team Tuesday. No one picked Danso in the team. I mean, they're all immense, weren't they? And he played a back five, which also fair credit to him. Credit to him. Because another podcast, when they lose your man of the match, I went Thomas Frank. He was my man of the match. So, yeah. So it was I thought it was a great game. I thought we chased everything down. We just didn't have it in for that last 10 minutes. I think we were gassed. We didn't have the quality of subs they had to bring on. Taking Sarr off. Mr. Run for ever and ever, and taking him off, I think. See, but that's looking back in hindsight. 2-2. Who thought we were going to get 2-2? I wouldn't give a predicted result because I'll only predict Spurs to win or worse get a draw. If I think we're going to lose, I'm not giving you a result, right? I'm a proper biased fan of over 6.5 decades, right? So, yeah. So I'm not having us losing any game. I won't walk out my front door tomorrow because I can walk to the stadium. I'm only a mile and a half away. I could walk in 40 minutes. If I thought we were going to lose a game, I wouldn't go. I think you have to have that belief as a fan, but others have got a different mentality, and I'm not knocking them for that. Back to you.
Alan, did you get a chance to catch the game? What were your thoughts?
I did. I did. I thought we did very well. I mean, we did well enough that I allowed myself to get my hopes up. Initially, I thought PSG, they've done so well. They destroyed Inter.
Did you think we were going to be on the receiving end of a hiding? Were you one of the sort of 4 or 5, or this could get bad, or
this could get bad? They could. That's what I was thinking. Is that it really only takes one early on. If they score early, it could really demoralize us. So I was worried about that, but then we were 2 up for 80 minutes. We showed everyone on the world stage that Spurs are not that far away from something special. I think.
wow,
I really do. I feel like that we're, if we can do what we just did against PSG for 80 minutes, for 90 minutes in the Premier League, we're going to be very difficult to beat. We will. We are thin. And personally, I agree with Jose when he says I think Vicario needs a little more work. I'm a little concerned about his gatekeeping, so to speak. But I think overall we're not that far away. We just aren't. So if we can play like we did against PSG, against most opponents, we're going to be scary. I think we can be pretty scary. Back to you.
Okay. Jim, this was the team that we got out in the first half, and again, I don't know if it was a surprise to you that we decided to go 3 at the back. I mentioned last week I was the one that was talking with Adrian, and he gave me the "don't be so stupid, there's never going to be a back 3," and then lo and behold, I'm at work and I was doing some filing. I think I dropped some paper. I was like, "There's no way," but he did it, and it looked. We looked very, very solid for a large portions of that game. And I want to, give a shout out to Paulinho, who's not really played much football, but as a defensive base in that midfield, he was one of the standouts. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I wasn't surprised to see the lineup of that, in short. But what I think was a great comment earlier was, if Frank started playing that way, my main concern was we don't have the centre backs in quantity to do that regularly. So I was always a bit like, if he does it, it's just this one-off thing because it's a massive cup final against the best team in the world, and everything I've kind of read about Ange Frank since he's hard is he will take those kind of approaches when necessary. But what really surprised me was I thought it was going to be 11 men behind the ball, try break for a counter, and effectively do to PSG what everyone did to Spurs last season. But what was lovely to see and filled me with a lot of joy was Frank told them to go for it, right? We dominated the press, we kept them at bay, we made it really difficult with them. And you would have thought, if you had swapped the shirts of those 11 players in each pitch, you would have thought we were PSG and they were Tottenham based on the first 80 minutes. I thought that was how well we did. So he nailed the lineup. He nailed the tactical setup up until the 80th minute. And like was mentioned before, the challenge you have with PSG is the reason their players are so expensive is because they have the ability to turn a game on its head through ability rather than opportunity. And we saw that with that brilliant first goal that just, it hit the post and the side netting. It couldn't be low in the goal. It couldn't be more unsavable. It was such a perfect strike. And look, we don't have the players in our squad really to do things like that on a regular basis, but PSG do. But I would say, I think we're way too harsh in the squad. Way too harsh in it. If you asked me, do we have Champions League level players in our squad? I'd go, well, Udogie, Spence, Romero, Van de Ven. Yeah. Like, would you say they're Champions League? I think most Spurs fans would. I think Bentancur is on his day. I think Kudos is. I think you've got Paulinho, Porro definitely is. You've also got Paulinho, who I think has proven he's that level because he was bought by Bayern Munich, and we were all clamoring for the guy until he became a reject in our heads because he didn't make it at Bayern, but he's still the same footballer. So I think there's 7 or 8 players in there.
Jim,
that are
sorry,
good.
Don't forget Danfro. Don't forget Danfro.
Oh, yeah, Danfro. Oh, and the new secret weapon. And this is one of the exciting things I like about Frank. I think
I knew he had a cannon.
He will find things in the players that we probably didn't know quite existed before. And that throw was an example of that, where Frank will probably take our set pieces and those organisational pieces to another level. And it was really good to see. And the set pieces were brilliant as well. I also enjoyed Van der Ven's new role, where I always thought of Van der Ven as his strength's all about his pace, right? It's all about getting caught on the break and Van der Ven being able to gas anyone. But what was nice in that game, he wasn't used in that way. He was used for his technical ability and just showing what centre back he is. Now, aerially, he has to get a bit better. We know that. He's a young player, younger than most people realise. He needs to work on that. So, yeah, really positive overall. It wasn't perfect, though. I think we may stretch it a little bit far to say he did everything perfect, Frank. I think if he didn't have the pressure on him and could reflect on his own decisions, he might have used all his subs and brought on another attacker for the penalties rather than leaving Johnson and Odegaard on the bench and then having a centre-back take a penalty. To me, that's like, to me, that was more of a, oops, I didn't have time to get him on in the moment. A centre-back's going to have to put the hand up now and take... I don't like to see centre-backs taking penalties, especially in the first three. I think that's kind of a bit of a... But they're very minor errors. Like, I think 90 times out of 100, you get away with those because he's got so much right. And he'll learn from this. He will be watching all those videos. He watched every game of ours last season. He'll be watching his own 10 times over now and thinking, what could I have done differently with that brilliant obsession to get better? So, yeah, I thought we did really well. And it just hammers home the point for me that this squad is better than people realise or think on the whole, and that we are already in a good spot to fight for those top 6 spots.
Interesting. All right. We typically go through that a little sort of minute by minute or just sort of play by play, and we do have some, a couple of bits to bring up. The first half, I mean, we did a lot of stuff really, really nicely. In the first minute, obviously, we had the Porro shot wide. 23 minutes, Richarlison shoots, and Richarlison, I want to come to you, Ian, because everybody has been on this guy's case. He's not good enough. He's always injury prone. We need to get rid. And that's been the case pretty much all pre-season as well. This was, I don't want to say it was a different Richarlison because it was just, he was certainly a lot better. Do you think that Frank can get, if he stays fit and we get that Richarlison for a good amount of the season, can you see him having an impact in a Frank team? Because he seems to me like the sort of player that Frank, if he stayed fit, could get a tune out of.
Well, he might have to, mightn't he? Because one of all the areas of the team we're looking to develop, another top-class centre-forward does not appear to be on our agenda, which I don't agree with. But look, these people get paid the big bucks. My worry, as I've said, is the creativity and the goals in the team. Yeah. I think we're not bad already. We will get better at not conceding. I mean, at the end of the day, you said, well, hang on, you conceded 6 to PSG and Bayern. So there is improvement there that's needed. But we need to be scoring a lot more goals. The fact that in your preamble to the question, you said if he's fit about 3 times.
I know.
Is indicative of the doubts that you even had posing that question to me as a credible question. And therein lies the problem. I mean, I was watching it. You've been on, I don't know if you've been on with him. My mate, Jem Silverstone, has been on the show a few times. And he abhors Richarlison with a passion. But even he was forced to concede that he was really, really good on Wednesday night. And part of the problem where you maybe want to talk about, I don't know if you want to go through minute by minute. I don't think people remember that kind of stuff. But when we made the substitutions and they made the substitutions, the game changed. Yeah. And we suddenly had no out ball and we had no one to hold the ball up in particular, which Richarlison was doing. Solanke wasn't fit and he's actually really, really good at holding the ball up but couldn't get near it. Probably have been better off with an Odegaard or a Johnson, that someone that could just get the ball, hold it, and maybe move, earn a throw in or even something like that. But the pressure was on us and the defence was tired and bang. But we missed Richarlison desperately when he went off, desperately. And that goes down to squad depth. It goes down, I think, to some of the tactics from the manager. If he brings on Richarlison with 5 minutes to go, scores the winner, he's a genius. He took players off, and the players that came on couldn't influence the game at all. But yes, if he can keep Richarlison fit, he's going to have to get something out of him. If he doesn't, on the basis that we don't appear to be getting in another mainstream central attacker. But Solanke manifestly isn't fit. Richarlison is made of glass, we know it. So anyone that's not worried that come end of September, those two might be on the treatment table. We're going playing Champions League matches with half a strike force. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be negative, but evening, Jose, by the way.
Evening, Jose.
Evening, Jose.
We'll just I'll just run through these quickly because on 39 minutes, obviously, VDV scores from the rebound from the Bentancur shot onto the crossbar. Richarlison again popped up with another shot. The Chevalier palm clear on 47. Then we go 2-0 up. Romero heads home from the Porro free kick. We had Richarlison yellow card on 53. Dan's throw on 62 with the yellow card. We had the first set of the substitutions, 72 minutes and 79 minutes. And then, unfortunately, 85th minute, Lee Kang shoots from 20 yards. Bergvall came on for Sarr, but then, unfortunately, again, 90 minutes plus 4, Goncalo Ramos heads home from the Dembele cross. And then we're obviously at penalties. That being said, Adrian, there are so many positives to take away. And there is, at the very least, the sort of foundations to obviously start the season, hopefully very positively, right?
Yeah, there's players that have taken a lot of stick off of Spurs fans, Sarr in particular, who's probably been our best player pre-season. Bentancur, Frank wants the club to give him a new contract now. I think he stalled. Maybe it's a pride thing. Maybe they offered him the same deal. Well, if you really want to play, you give him extra money for loyalty and things like that. I'm just surmising, and I don't know. I've got no information. I'm not an ITK. So, I think Bentancur's been brilliant. Ian always says when Bentancur plays well, the team play well. He's right there. He's correct there. And then you look at Spence, who's just signed a new long-term contract. I mean, he's the second fastest player at the club after VDV. He showed it against Hakimi in that game, didn't he? He was behind him at one time and got past him and got the ball and all that, you know. Yeah, I mean, and you're looking at some of these kids, you know. I mean, to me, Bergvall and Gray are cooked now. They are first team players as far as I'm concerned. I've seen enough to know their quality. I knew a lot more about Gray from watching him in the Championship, so they're good. I mean, Kudus, he looks like Jim alluded to, like he's our rock star, isn't he? You know. So, and I'm not so concerned up the front. It is a concern with getting another striker in. But I think one mistake Frank did make was playing, if he's watched all those games, was playing Johnson on the left because it failed when Ainge tried it. You know, it did fail. It didn't work then. But I can see Johnson playing through the middle. Then we've got two traditional sort of number 9 forwards. But then you can play Kudus and Johnson in the middle there. They can each take a place. They're players more incisive forwards, like they always play on the continent, rather than have out-and-out number 9s. What we consider to be a number 9 anyway. So I can see that. Then we've got even Tell, because Tell's not a winger. He's an inside striker. He was forced to play out the wing because he's not going to take Harry Kane's place as number 9 at Bayern. Right? and you go and watch the videos of Tell, and he's taken a lot of stick recently. And look, the jury's still out with me on him as well. But to get him to sign that contract and get him to sign full time, they've obviously, he's one of those players, well, the management, the coaches and all that have seen a lot more of him training to like about him than the fan base have as of yet. You know, and missing a penalty, to me, I just say, just get on with the game, mate. Put it behind you. It's done and dusted. Yeah.
Yeah. Back to me. Back to you, Alan. What are your positive takeaways? What are you hoping for to take away from that game that we're going to see implemented tomorrow? Because I think it's going to be. I mean, it's obviously going to be a very different game. It's going to be more more about breaking down probably a very, very solid Burnley bank of 5, bank of 5, bank of 0. I don't know. That might be doing a disservice to them, but yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, from the game, and I think someone mentioned it, the pairing of Bentancur and Paulinho was very good. They're very physical. They're very commanding in that middle. And PSG didn't have answers for it when they were both on the pitch. They just didn't have answers for them. As the coach said at the end of the match, the better team doesn't always win, and in this case, the better team lost. I think Kudus is amazing. I'm loving watching him play. His hold-up play, his ability to keep the ball, and hold up play is, and he's so fast as well. So it's pretty exciting to have a player like that again. Gosh, there were a lot of positives. I felt I allowed myself to feel hope, so I was crushed a bit after the game, but it was a good feeling, a really good start to the season. What I don't want to see is us like what we did against Leicester last year. I think it was Leicester when we started.
Yeah, the 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could see that happening if they park the bus, if they score and we were able to get one back as a result. But I think that there's a lot of positives. Look, Richie was positive overall. I think we've established that Richie is not a Harry Kane type of player. We can't. It's kind of, he's kind of a victim of circumstance in that regard, because he was the backup for Harry Kane. And when Harry left, we kind of looked at Richie and said, I don't know if he's going to be able to do what Harry does or replace what we lose by losing Harry Kane. And that's not necessarily fair. They're not the same kind of striker. Richie draws fouls. He's pretty good in the air. I think he obviously needs work, I think, in his shooting. I think he looks like he takes a breath and gets nervous and then kicks the ball kind of funny.
Do you think he's better? He's better when he has less time to think about things.
Right. When he's got less time to think about stuff, he tends to instinctively react well. But there were a lot of positives. The three in the back, there was a time when we had three in the back with like Dyer, Ben Davies, and Emerson Royal or whatever, and we were clamoring for four in the back. Yeah. And then we got four in the back with Ange. Now we're clamoring for three in the back again. But I
think we just want solidity, right? You just want to see something solid. I don't care if it's 4 or 3 or whatever. I just want him to look like they all know what they're doing.
It was solid though. It was again Danzo with that cannon. Could he be the next Kyle Walker for us? I think that's the kind of thing. It changes games, and it allows for certain set pieces that if you don't have that on your team, you just can't take advantage of. That the throw in is almost like a corner, depending on how close it is to the goal. And he did that against PSG, and so it can be a useful weapon. So I felt pretty good about Thomas Frank and the fact that he was able to recognize that out of Danzo. It's not something that Ange noticed or used or utilized at all. I was nervous about VDV on the left. We've seen him on the left before, and it wasn't his best position. But I think again, as kind of Jim pointing out, his big feature is his pace, and he can kind of run up the field a lot and come back. And as long as his legs hold out, he can cover a lot of ground.
Do you think? You think he's going to be required? Jim, we'll come down to you because I'm actually going to show it off because it's my boy right there. Yes. I was slightly concerned that he was going to lose his superpowers because essentially he was. I don't know. I feel like he was the get out of trouble. Unfortunately, I think one too many times we let him try and get us out of trouble, and that's why he ended up injuring himself. But I was slightly concerned that he wasn't going to be quite the technical centre-back defender that we needed him to be. But I was actually quite impressed with how he managed how he managed his game. against PSG. It was a slightly different side of him than I've seen previously. He's going to be used. He's going to be utilised a lot differently, and therefore, I mean, the hope is that maybe it won't take such a toll on his hamstrings potentially.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt watching the game. Was like because he was our only protection to a counter-attack last season. We didn't have Paulinho, right? When you look back in reflection, you go, "Why? How are we trying to get away with that with Bentancur as our own, like in some kind of makeshift 6 role? Like, how much better was Bentancur against PSG because Paulinho freed him up to do what he's best at? Paulinho, I get frustrated when I hear people say he can't pass forwards, etc., etc. He's not there to do that. He is there to give a platform to other players by filling a skill set void in our side that those other players aren't able to fill themselves. So he can go, Rodrigo, forget about doing that. I'm going to do that. Now you're great on the ball. You go enjoy yourself and play your own game, because if we get the ball to your feet in tight spots, you can dribble past anyone. And then you start getting these little kind of mini flashbacks of Moussa Dembele when Bentancur has the ball. You go, oh, this is brilliant. This is the Bentancur we knew and loved. But yeah, Van de Ven, he's not. He's a kind of like, he's a supercar, isn't he? His hamstrings are extremely unreliable, but when they're finally tuned and working, there's no one else better. And I feel like because he's so quick, we overlook what a good technical defender he is, and that he's not actually reliant on his pace to be a good defender. If he can work in training, and he's a lot younger than most people think as well, on that aerial ability, and I think we'll see that improve under Frank in particular. Frank will be drilling him hard on that. There's no way a stats-led manager like Frank isn't going to quickly identify that as an area that he needs to work on. You're going to see him coming from strength to strength in that area. And he's not going to be a player that's going to be asking to redline his hamstrings to make up space all the time. I think he's going to be put into a different role. So we should, touch wood, see more availability from him as well, which is great. You know, I'd rather have 90% of the best Van de Ven available every week than utilize 100% of Van de Ven's capability and all his pace and only have him for a third of every season because we redline him so much. So, let's manage him well. And it would be very wise for Spurs to bring in that other centre-back we're linked with, left centre-back. I just think then it's nothing against Ben Davies. I think he's got value in the squad and he's a wonderful human being and he's Tottenham. I love the guy. But I don't think you could confidently rotate Van de Ven out in a Champions League game at the moment for Ben Davies. And therefore, you're just going to end up putting Van de Ven in situations where he's playing 2 or 3 times a week. Inevitable happens, and then you have to play Ben Davies. And then then you can't play 3 at the back. You don't have enough centre-backs left, and it all snowballs out of control.
Yeah.
So, and then we have Archie Gray at the back, and everyone starts arguing over whether he's a centre-back or a number 6, or whether it's the manager's tactics. I'm like, I can't go through that again. Please don't put me through that again. It was too exhausting.
Too much. Yes, mate.
True. Yeah. The Sun's running an interesting story at the moment, which has implications for us. Crystal Palace want to sign Harvey Elliott as a replacement for Eberechi Eze, and have not ruled out a swap deal involving Mark Gay. So that actually is one of those transfer rumours that looks that might have some substance to it. I mean, certainly, as I said, I've seen from a couple of sources he's not letting us have Eze unless he's got a replacement. Well, if he gets Elliott, that might move early next week. As I think Savinho will. I mean, his agents have come over. Pep doesn't like to stand in the way of players who want to go. So maybe those 2 deals will happen. You know.
Yeah, it was something that came up earlier on, and I was going to mention it. You kind of stole my thunder a little bit, Ian, but I'll allow it. Sorry, it's still good. No, you're fine. We're going to have to say, we're going to have to say goodbye to Alan. Yeah. He's got to jump off, and I want to just ask Jim one more thing, and then we'll have to let him go. But Alan, thank you very much, mate. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week.
Great to be here. Take it easy, everybody.
Yeah, enjoy the game on the weekend, mate.
Yeah, mate. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Quick, I guess you'll do. Are you guys going to do a prediction?
Yeah, go on. What's your prediction?
2-1.
All right, sweet. 2-1 Spurs. I'll take it. It's 3 points.
You can come back on, Al. You can come back on. Yeah.
Take care, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Jim, we'll just ask you just before we have to let you go as well. Obviously, we're playing Burnley at home tomorrow. What's your expectation? Just a sort of similar question that I left with Alan. What's your expectation for the setup tomorrow? Because I mean, you expect it to be drastically different. You think we're going to see the 4 at the back again? I mean, is this the nice thing with Frank that you kind of kept on your toes? You don't quite know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, there's so many variables that it could be because we still don't have a number 10. Well, we do, but he doesn't have an ACL, so we can't use him. So, and the other one we want isn't with us yet. And as I think we quite rightly pointed out earlier, it's not going to be as simple as I think Spurs just chucking another couple of £1 million and getting him over the line tomorrow. That one's probably going to drag out a couple more weeks, frustratingly. But anyway, yeah, Frank won't go for 5 at the back. I don't think this time. I just can't see him doing that against Burnley at home. I think in home games he is going to go a little more attacking. He's got the option of putting Kudus in the number 10 position. He's mentioned he can do. He could play Odegaard there. So he does have a secondary 10 he can use. But then weirdly in pre-season, he preferred Sarr in that role. So I think we'll see more of what we saw before PSG in pre-season in that Burnley game. And I think we'll see someone making up a makeshift number 10. And I think what's going to be interesting as well is seeing whether Solanke or Richarlison starts. As was pointed earlier, I think Richarlison was a bigger threat than Solanke has been in pre-season. I don't think Richarlison's our answer to number 9. I don't think he's our long-term answer by any means, but he's a good player. And when he's being more of a threat than your other attacking option, he's earned a chance, right, to go on that side. There was that period. Was it last season or the season before when he scored 7 games in a row?
It was 9 in 10, I think it was.
9 in 10, yeah.
I think so.
So he's a player who just seems to he's his own worst enemy. He's so in his own head in terms of beating himself up for his own bad runs of form, that things. But when he's flowing, he seems to get in a really good flow, but then he can just be knocked off that flow by the smallest thing from the outside's perspective, which is so important to him. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Richarlison start, but then I think Spence as well. I think he deserves to start at left wing back, even with a fit Udogie at the moment. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. The big question is how tired are these players after that PSG game? That's the other thing. We don't want to see the same situation as what we had in the previous season where we played players one game too many and then an injury happens and then all the problems start stockpiling again. So I think we'll probably see a bit of rotation there. But
Jim, what about Richarlison on the left, Solanke in the middle, and then Kudus? And then you could have Sarr behind, because I think Richarlison will, if they're going to low block like Ian alluded to earlier, I think we can afford to do that. We can always bring on the quicksilver wingers like Celtic players, winger Odegaard later on.
Yeah,
I don't think it'd be right to drop Richarlison, to be honest. I'm not a fan. I want him gone, but I just think he's in a bit of form. And Solanke needs a bit of time on his legs. And if Solanke can only give us 60 minutes playing for the 60 and then bring someone on, switch Richie in the middle, then bring Tiller Odegaard on the left.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like I said, I don't think Richarlison's any means the long-term answer. And let's see that. Yeah. I think that's a great shout. Richarlison's proven he can be a big threat on the left all last season as well. I think he was great in that role. And we're looking for a left winger for a reason, right? I think we know that there's players on the left with high ceilings, but they're not quite the player we need now to be starting every week. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But then again, can you afford to redline both your strikers? One's injury prone, one's coming back from an injury in the same game. It makes me think he'll probably start with Odegaard on the left.
I'd be happy with Odegaard. Like they say, he's the most skillful player at the club, then Maddison next. But like, no, I've got no qualms about starting Odegaard. I just think I think Solanke's got to get more game time.
Yeah. Could you see my team? Can you read that?
Oh yeah, I mean vaguely. I don't know what's going on. We've got Vicario, Porro, Romero, VDV, Spence, Polinia, Bentancur, Sarr, Kudus, Richie, and Odegaard. I mean, it's not horrible, is it, Jim?
No,
I don't think Solanke's fit to start. That's for certain. Not after the 10 minutes I saw on Wednesday night.
No. No, I don't think he's fit to
and
start.
I think Odebear hold the ball, get down the flanks. I mean, this is not going to be easy. As someone said in the chat that watched them on the break, Kevin said, I think, don't underestimate Burnley. They are quick on the break. This is no mug team we're playing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of
Scotty Parker, by all accounts, has had him playing quite well, and Ian, they're quite solid. Has anyone got any concerns being with Kudus? Let's say we do bring in Savinia, Kudus, Odebear. Are we a little bit? Is that a little bit lightweight? I mean, is Solanke enough and is Richarlison enough to make up for them being the sort of, as lightweight as they are? Is that an issue? Or is that a nothing burger from me?
I just think Kudus would play for the middle, will be given a free role. I think you give him a free role because Savino wants to play on the right. So you give Kudus a free role if it's at the 10. It's where he would like to play. He said either on the right or in the centre. So we've got, like you say, Odegaard on the left. Richie can play on the left. Tell can at a push. You know, I still see Tell more as an inside striker, and same with Johnson. But it's like look, last season we raved about a back seven or whatever it is because we know out of those players, you know, they're terrific. Our midfield was pants, and our forward line didn't fire as much. And now we're looking more solid in midfield. That can switch things around. It's not an issue. But we haven't got a clue how our front three is going to perform. We just don't know, right? And people said, we always go into the season with hope, but one of my favourite sayings is hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy, right? So you can't, we shouldn't, and I believe we're going to have a cracking season because I've seen it before. Ian's seen it before. When you've had a team of youngsters like Mikey Moore wasn't 18, gets a Europa League medal, right? And the other young players for that squad, the confidence and belief that those players now know that they got over that mental line, right? They crossed the line and won a trophy. And some players will never win a trophy in the whole of their careers. And these kids have got medals at 17, 18, 19, you know, and the belief that's going to give them, this will lift the whole side. You've won a trophy. That's what I say, success breeds success. With us, with the younger players, it's even better. I think it's going to be even more beneficial to us long term. I just think we'll have a cracking season. I'm confident we'll get signings in, and I think we're looking top 5 in a domestic trophy.
Ooh, and the trophy. Love it.
Wow.
Love it. We are so much. I'm sorry, I have to say, we are so much better than everyone's making out that squad. There's several Champions League players in there.
I agree with that.
I didn't even mention Sarr in there earlier. But if anyone tries to argue that Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, Udogie, Spence, Bentancur, and Sarr aren't at least in contention to be Champions League level players, and then to try to argue that a team with 8 of those players, and plus Kudus haven't even mentioned, and there's lots of other good players like Berryval in there, to say that squad is even remotely in a mid-table conversation, I don't know if you guys think it's a bit of a hangover to people just still being in the Frank Ange argument and needing to kind of, hardcore justify that he underperforms so much for the squad, or Frank's going to overperform with an awful squad, and there's those ulterior biases. I don't know what it is, or maybe confidence is just so low after 22 defeats.
When we started getting injured players back last season, Jim, we lack cohesion, we're disjointed. It looked like Andrew's going just for the European trophy, right? And people saying, well, what do you want to see in the team? I said, doesn't matter what Ange does in his last 10 or 12 games. I said, he's going to get it, right? He's going to get it. I said, what would you like to see? I said, I'd like to see progress and growth just for those 10 games. So as you can see that things improve, things are going. This season, I want growth and progress, and I want to see cohesion and fluidity in our play. That's what we missed that in midfield. We had no cohesion and fluidity up front, no cohesion, and fluidity in midfield. Now I think we fixed that. By the way, I think Paulina hit the pass to Matey before VDV smashed it in. He had a hand in the goal, didn't he, Paulina? I think. I think he did. Yeah. So I went off on a tangent now. So I think we're going to have an exciting season. I think the future's bright. I just think we're going to have an exciting season based on winning that trophy. I think I think winning that trophy is a game changer for the squad.
Yeah, it gets that horrible. It gets that. It just, the one thing I think we've been left with from last season that is just unarguably good is the trophy monkey off our back. Like, we're not the butt of all jokes. Arsenal are the butt of all jokes now, which is brilliant. And it's even those young players, they know they can do it. They know they can get a trophy over the line. And I think having that belief, like you say, you might see Spurs going into these domestic cups with that little bit more belief within the squad, and not always leaving it down to the manager to have to kind of get them over that line, or whoever else it is. But yeah.
I just find it disappointing at times. We've won a trophy and fans are still moaning. I mean, what I think some fans just enjoy moaning. I think they enjoy being miserable. I don't know what it is, you know what I mean? But I mean, we get them, they'll criticise a penalty shot. It's a fucking lottery. It's just a lottery. Anything can happen. Yeah. If you win it, it's great. If you lose it, doesn't, you know? I just find that section of fans, they're very good at lancing boils, but they're not very good at offering solutions, right? That's what I find with lots of them. Like, when I listen, I don't get involved in rants with them. There's just no point. I just you know, just switch off, just listen, and just, no, I'm not getting involved here. You know, so.
Well, just really, really quickly, Jim, before you have to head off, given that we haven't gone for any previous club trained players, have we kind of made peace with the fact that our Champions League squad isn't going to be the full quota, and we're just going to have to kind of not wing it this year, but you think there's just going to be a lot more maybe rotation in there? Have we kind of made peace with the fact that maybe it's not going to be, I don't know, anything can happen in the Champions League, but I don't know. That says to me that we're not making a run for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'll have priorities, and I think they'll want to get out the group in the Champions League. And I imagine the view on the squad will be, we're going to have 2 Champions League squads potentially. Like, we start the first 6 months of one. Given the injuries we've got to non-homegrown players, that frees up non-homegrown spots for the wrong reasons, but it still frees up spots for other players to get in. And they probably feel that the fact you can rotate the squads around mid-season protects you a little bit against injuries, because you can obviously take out those injured players. And it's just, it depends. It could be the other way around, whereby what it means is the players named in the Champions League squad get priority in the Champions League games, and the Premier League team, you see it rotated a bit more and weakened a bit as a result, that we're resting those players to keep them fit for the Champions League. So it's a little bit of a disadvantage, but I think if you go back, it was a massive problem 2 years ago. It was massive. The squad was just so short on club grown, homegrown players. It's now a lot better than it was. It's now become a bit of it's become a manageable nuisance now, whereas before it was a big problem.
Well, in January,
in
January, we left out Werner, Dragerson because he was injured in Kingsky, and brought in Spence, Danfro, and Tell.
Yeah,
for those 3, because it was too crowded. But now, like you say, we've got the injured, and Solomon and Giller go out. It's not going to be an issue. The only issue before was, we're not going to be short of players for the Champions League, because you list as many under 21 B-list players as possible, as long as they've done the 2 years at the club. And you only have to put that list up 24 hours before a game, and you can change it each game as well. So that's not an issue. So we're always going to have enough numbers, because we'll obviously be B-list players on that list if we can't even make the full quota. We've got 14 here, but you can take Solomon and Gill off here. You can take Kulusevski off here. He's not going to be ready for about 6 weeks.
Exactly.
So there's 3 off there. So now you're down to 11. And at the moment, out of 17, because we've got 7 homegrown with Maddison being injured, right? But we've got 17. So even if we bring 2 or 3 foreign players in there, it's not an issue.
Agreed. It's being made out to be a much bigger deal than it is. I think it was like a couple of years ago, Ali Gold started talking about it really regularly, being like, everyone needs to learn these homegrown, club-grown rules. It's a big problem, and it was a big issue then. But as you spot on said, I think it's more of a slight annoyance than a massitive issue now. Like,
does the fact that we're now, because I guess my concern, or just the thing that I find odd, is that they're preaching the 3 years consecutive to be club trained, and yet we're loaning out all the players that would otherwise qualify to be club trained. So is that, I mean, is it a big deal? Isn't it a big deal? This is the thing. It just feels like a little bit of a contradiction to me.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I was just going to say about when Sarr was out of Metz, he'd done his 3 years as an academy player, but he wasn't allowed to be counted as club trained because it wasn't here. I'm not sure if they're loaned out in our league. Someone, if any chat knows, I haven't researched this. I research a lot of stuff, but I don't know if as long as you're loaned out in our leagues, whether that counts or not. It may not.
I feel like the fact that it states club trained, I feel like you have to be trained by the club. Otherwise, it would be homegrown, home trained.
Yeah.
Right? Not maybe. I don't know. I just find it. I also find it. Everyone says, you got to promote the youth, but then the youth is the one that gives you the most money in your bank balance when you sell them. So that seems like a bit of a juxtaposition to me as well. But I mean, what do I know? What do I know? It's all about the money. It's all about the money.
We could have kept Alfie Whiteman, but then if you want to improve your squad, you shouldn't worry about this. You go with what you've got because you want to bring in better players. If you bring in more foreign players, obviously more than the 14, which we're down to 11, so we can bring 3 in. So it's not going to be an issue because we may bring in 3 foreign players if we don't get an Eze Uruguay who's homegrown, right? But so it's not going to be an issue for us this year. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it, and we've got enough. And back earlier, even with the kids, I mean, being loaned out, like I mentioned earlier with Donnelly, I mean, I'd love Vuskovic to stay with the squad. I'm sure we all would. I mean, I watched him before and nobody's realised what a talent he is. But I don't want him to stay if he's sitting on a bench. Exactly, if he's not getting game time, and he's too good to play for our under-21s. And I think that's what the decision I made with Mikey Moore. I love this player. Ian knows how much I've watched every under-21 game the season before last, right? And on Spurs playing that. And what a talent. But he's only 18. He's just signed a long-term contract. He's 18. A European champion. He's 18. So I get it. It must be a painful choice for those in charge. I mean, Frank and all that, because you can obviously see these are talented players. But then if you can't give them game time, and look, you're looking at the moment we're looking about leaving Danfro out the team for VDV and Romero. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all want him to get sufficient game time now. And if you bring a kid in and you play him over a pro like that, well, how does that affect the confidence or those on the bench? Yeah. Been here longer. It's a fine juggling act with kids,
No, Great. That's fair enough. Well, Jim, I've given you an hour, and I can sense that 5:45, 5:30 time frame coming soon on you.
It's just a reality.
Give us if you mind, just really quickly, what's your lineup looking like for tomorrow, and give us your score prediction if you could.
I still think it'll be Vicario goal. I know there's people want to see Kinski. I think that will happen at some point in the season, that he'll be given a chance to show if he's the guy or not. But I think it'll be Vicario, Spence, Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, Paulinia, Bentancur. I think it will be Odeber on the left, Kudus. Will they play Kudus? I've got a weird feeling they might play Kudus in the middle tomorrow. I could just see it, and I think it was Adrian who said it earlier that just give him free reign in the middle. Yeah, could see that. Yeah, but then at the same time, I can't see him starting Johnson. I'm going to go for Sarr in the middle midfield position with a kind of hybrid centre mid 10 like he did in pre-season. Kudus on the right, and Richarlison up front just because Slanky's not fit. That'd be my guess. And I'm going to go for
Odegaard on the left, then a couple of dribblers to try and beat the low block.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I reckon. Yeah. And I'll go for 2-0 Spurs.
Nice. You're going to be there tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, so excited. Go on, sorry.
Do you go to South Stand Zone? Because we all meet there in front of the towers, in front of the artificial grass.
Oh, the outside bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, my season ticket's in the south. So yeah, I'll swing by. I've got a meet up in the east, but I will swing by your way first and see if I can find you. That'd be good. I think I got your number, don't I? I'll pop your text.
Yeah, you should have our numbers if you're in a WhatsApp group.
Yeah. Nice one.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Jim. I really appreciate you coming on.
Always a pleasure. And come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Thank you so much, mate.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye. Ian, how you doing, mate? You hanging in there?
I'm hanging in there. Yeah, I'm knackered as well. Been a long week, so yeah. Depends on how long you're planning on running. It might be we'll just leave the chat on and we'll just go to the pub or something.
Yeah. Well, we've been going for an hour and 15. I think maybe we'll give it another 15 minutes. I want to take your thoughts on tomorrow and see. Are you going to the game?
I am. Yep.
Yeah,
I am.
Well,
I'm sitting with. I've got zookeeper Tom's ticket who's working, so I'm sitting with his dad Kev. So yeah.
What are you looking forward to tomorrow? Just the whole event, the whole first game of the season vibe.
Always exciting with a new manager. A bit of negativity. I'm not expecting blood and thunder, full out, full attacking, wild at them, 5-0. We haven't got the players for that yet, although I think we may have. So I'm expecting it to be a pretty tight, maybe a little bit turgid game, not much in it, 1-0 Spurs. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, if it's 4-3 Tottenham, 5-4 Tottenham, as long as we win, I don't care. I'll go away entertained and enjoy it. I just think it will be really, really tight. Burnley are no monks. Someone said it's, I think might have been Kevin in the chat said, they're no monks, and they're not monks, but it is a different league coming up here, and we do have some good players, and I think players like Kudus, I think Odebear's got the skill and the speed to hurt them, get behind them. I can't see him not starting Richarlison. He's playing well. He needs a goal, but maybe tomorrow's the day. There's a few people need that. Night Graham need some sleep. Guy, before I'll be back on Sunday night with the review of the Burnley game. Hoping we're talking about 10 goals and 6-4 to Tottenham or something like that, but not expecting it. So the important thing is before we get our full team in, our full signings, that we at least pick up enough points. We don't want to be languishing in 16th, 17th again. I mean, they've got a couple of experts. They've got 3 ex-Spurs boys. Is that right? Marcus Edwards, Carl Walker, and Kieran Trippier.
Yeah. Trippier's back there, is he?
I say there's a chat of Russ Eva there. Any transfer bomb was nothing. I've got nothing that nobody doesn't know. I've got nothing that nobody doesn't know. I did think for a while there may be an absolute twist in the tail that Morgan's Gibbs White was gonna actually resurrect itself. I did hear from a good source, that might be coming back, but it doesn't look like it. Although the boy looks so unhappy, it's a real shame. Heaven alone.
Well, they're getting McAtee, aren't they? So it looks like the Greek might want to sell him for more money than 60 million. You know what I mean? So
let's see, because they got Rogers, is it? Was Kevin's team? Vic, Porro, Romero, Spence, Paulinho, Benny, Sarr, Odebear, Rishi, and Kudus. That's the exact same team as I put up earlier. That's the team I've written down. So that's the exact
I think just to clarify, Trippier is still at Newcastle. I think it's Carl Walker that's gone. Carl Walker's gone to Burnley.
Yeah, I know. I said Walker. I said.
Oh, did you?
Walker.
My bad.
Marcus Edwards went there as well, didn't he?
Oh, okay. So there's the two of them then. Yeah.
Have we got any ex-Burnley players?
Odegaard.
Oh.
Odegaard, yeah, and Ralph Coates.
Yeah. Scored the winner in the 1973 League Cup. I was there, Wembley. I was there. Johnny Pratt went off and he came on and scored the winner from the edge of the penalty area. Yeah. Ralph,
I was a twinkle in my father's eye, I believe.
Yeah, that was my second Wembley Cup final at the age of 13.
Are we giving Ainge man of the match for PSG?
Who?
Angel on the brain again. Thomas Frank.
Will you stop it?
I did Scarfy's show last night and I gave it to Kudos, so I better stick with that. I thought Kudos was wonderful.
If the game was 80 minutes, I'd give it to him, but I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. Am I being too harsh by saying I don't think the substitutions were quite right? But then by the same token, he didn't really have that much to play with. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's so early to tell. It's so early to tell with this guy.
He's done well though, hasn't he? He's survived pre-season.
Yeah, right. Oh well, I mean, I don't know. Has he? Because there's a fair few people that already want him out. So I don't know. I just don't know. What's your score prediction tomorrow, Ian?
I said what I've said a couple of times. I hope 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
Okay. Adrian, what about you? What you're looking for tomorrow? Oh, go on. Sorry, Ian. You finished.
I agree with every word of that. I think that's exactly the game we're going to see.
I think 2-0 and we'll cruise it.
Right.
If we get, what could change it if we get an early goal? It really makes the difference. Suddenly you get teams that make an early mistake or something, or do something blindingly good and score an early goal. That will throw the Burnley game plan right out the window.
Yeah.
Unless they just sit back and try and come at us in the last 20 minutes or something. It was only a goal.
Mm-hmm.
But if we get an early goal, August for a few. Yeah, we'll see. I want to see the front three. I just want to see us fluid, cohesive, in our play. I want to see the front three, especially the link play good. I want to see it, but yeah. So, club are willing to sell.
Are we allowed to mention this at all? I don't know. I think. Was there something about us going back in for MDW, or was that all?
I'm told it's that Callum is completely dead now. But who knows? Who knows? They're signing McAtee. They've signed Rodgers, is it?
Yeah.
And they're in for some. There was 4 players they were linked with yesterday.
A foreign player they're after. I can't remember. So I'm not really interested in Forest. Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, I think that might be it then for the evening. You want to give the channel? Do you want to give the channel a plug before we leave, Adrian?
Yeah, we got 125 of you watching us on various platforms now. Big up to you all. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do. It helps the algorithm. You'll see the little red subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. You just got to click on it. Takes you to the page site, right, and then you just subscribe. There's memberships if you would like to take out a membership. The ticker below the ribbon. I mean, you can find us on XCOM. You can find us on Facebook and on a Facebook page there. If you want to follow us on there, I'm sure a lot of you are watching us from XCOM anyway, as it is. Like Ian said earlier, and Drew said, I think our shows go out every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday at 10 o'clock UK BST time at the moment. And big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to everyone viewing us. And big up to you for your comments and questions. All very welcome. Yeah, like a big thanks for a fledgling channel, but you're doing well. We won a couple of awards, so we must be doing something right, or the others must be doing something right. I might not be. And with that, back to Drew.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I just want to appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for participating this evening. Special shout out to Peter and Blaine earlier for the 20 total Spurs Diehards gifted memberships. Once again, it's the guys like that and their generosity that keeps it going. It's much appreciated. To all the regulars, to the newcomers, young and old, thank you so much. Can't wait for the boys to get going tomorrow. I'm going for a 3-0. I think it's going to be a cakewalk, and I think this is just going to be the beginning of something spectacular, and I'm expecting good things. So, yeah, I know. So I'm going to be absolutely muddied come May. Here we go. But with that, we'll see everybody again on Sunday. Enjoy the game tomorrow, and take care, and we'll see you soon. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Take care.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hearts, heart and soul. till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die heart, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die heart, heart and soul.